He's going to find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Burroughs in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
And I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately, isn't it? What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the out pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, that Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Typical, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of the line. It's now Pike. Good have a go. Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Burma down. Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's in such trouble. He's not a second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah. And
It's all about the entertainment. So I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the J2iCS or Just Two Idiots Cup Series live on JPB. I'm James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined by Howie Burroughs here for this evening. We've got 2 races lined up for you. We are at round 7. We have taken over midway through the season, and we are at Mid-Ohio. It is, of course, season 7 of this wonderful championship here. It's going to be very, very interesting to sit back and watch. 3.56 kilometers of the racetrack, and well, it's going to be exciting. Let's put it this way. 13 turns on this circuit, not very fast. Very fast lap times in conjunction with what they normally would be. 1:13.08 are on the board at this moment in time. We can give you a rundown of the standings. William Hansfire is out in front at the moment on 198 points. He's got 5 pole positions and 8 wins. Absolutely incredible. Hayden Fowler in second on 155. Now, he's got no wins, but is fairly consistent in the top 5. He's got 9 top 5 finishes. Lucas Wallace in third with Eric Fox in fourth. Gavin Averman in 5th, Martin Wallace in 6th, Adam Henwood in 7th, then David Azy in 8th place there. Jaden Manthagarlin in 8th, Ryan Schwab is tied there, Ryan Schwab in 10th, and Simon Berchik in 11th, with Jason Wunacek in 12th, Jonah Allen 13th, Nick Trollman down in 14th, Joe Albanese in 15th there as well, and it goes on all the way down to 33rd place. Let's bring Howie into the booth and discuss this great series we've got coming up. Howie, welcome in. How are you?
Well, how I'm doing depends. I did just get out of NIS at Daytona, and I hope the rest of you watching at home are having a better time than I just did. But I'm looking forward to some racing that's probably better than whatever's going on over there right now. This is a super fun and exciting track, and these some of the most exciting Formula cars in all of iRacing. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're just finishing off at the end of practice. Let's give you a rundown of the way the format will work this morning. Well, this morning for me, of course. Qualifying will be 15 minutes. Race 1 will be 20 minutes. Race 2 will be 40 minutes. Now, that's going to also have a top 8 reverse grid. So it's going to be race 2 will be an interesting one with that top 8 reverse. That's going to be set by the finishing positions of race 1. Well, they get 15x to play with. Drive-throughs after every 8x after. The fuel limit is 55%. They don't have to pit stop on the feature race, but we got a funny feeling that the fuel limitation will make these guys pit here as well. Anticipated laps per tank will be 20. Anticipated pit window between 10 and 32 minutes. Tyre change, some at the back might, some at the front probably will definitely not take it there as well. Air temperature 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Chances of rain is 0%, and humidity will be 59%, between 59 and 100%. No rain, which I think is good. I think these guys will be quite happy about that, because let's be real about it. Super Formulas, see it with us there, go into the wall. No rain tonight, Howie, which is quite a good thing as well, because you know, they're not exactly lovers of the rain as some of these drivers.
Especially on a track like this, it just completely ruins everything you're going for, because you're going to be attacking these corners with super high aero. You know, you're going to be traveling incredibly fast through some of these bends, and then suddenly you just get ruined by a horrible puddle or curb on the inside. Some of these corners stop becoming flat out or becoming nearly as fast in those conditions.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I think at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot to deal with when you're going from wet to dry, and I think at the end of the day, these guys are going to have to make sure they can get the dry right and do some practice in the rain, because you can be fast as you like in the dry, but if you can't manage the wet weather when it does fall on the racetrack, you're going to be sliding more times than Bambi on ice. So it's going to be an interesting one, and I think we'll see how these guys are going to get on here. I think going forward with it just being completely dry evening, what is perspective from the weather, I think these drivers, 17 drivers, should find it quite comfortable to be able to go and just go out full pace. You know, they're going 113s at the moment. Nobody really dipping in below that. We want to give a big shout out to the sponsors of this evening, Loop Communications. Loop Communications provide a fully managed, hosted voice services with no contract and no angst. Head over to www.loopcommunications.com. There is a live timing link down in the description below if you wish to follow along and track where your favourite driver is. We are in qualifying. They will get 15 minutes of qualifying here to get some times on the board. What do we reckon with Mid-Ohio? Where are we expecting most of the overtakes to take place? Is it going to be where we think it should be, which is generally down into coming out of turn 1 down into the keel at turn 2? Or do we think turn 4 might be a good option as they're going up through 3?
You pretty much get those first few corners of the track. As you mentioned, turn 1 and the keyhole are going to be big. There's so much elevation change in the latter part of the course, including around the S's, that it becomes really, really, really scary to try and force a pass there. That said, these are incredibly mobile cars, and these are incredibly agile, and you can be very, very aggressive in them without losing them in any real way. They're really perfect for every sort of Formula, or not, perfect for every sort of Formula driver on iRacing. So I think it's going to be very exciting seeing them come around there. Now, so this is an open qualifying. Always add some spice and flavour things with the other cars, possibly interfering with your runs, and we're going to get to see some times come live on the board as they come around.
Yeah, they are now. Most of the drivers will be starting their flying lap this time around. Don't forget, if you are new here, thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and do all that other fancy jazz that you can do for completely free. We've got a lot more racing coming up on JPB this week as well. And I think what we should really do is go on board with one of the drivers here. We can go on board with, let's see who's just going round start finish line, maybe. That might be a good idea. There we go. We'll jump on board with Sneezy Jr. as he is going round the keel of turn 1. You can see on the right hand side, doing second gear, round about 130, now pushing up through the gears here on that run up into the right-hander of turn 4, topping north of probably around about 230 kilometers an hour, just about 234, 235, hard on the brakes, down through the gears we go, down through the right-hander, then we're going to get the left-hander of turn 5. This section is incredibly tricky, and they will need to get it right constantly. Through turn 6 up through the SE section, turn 7, coming into the right-hander of turn 8. Sybil Steve there on the board with a 1:14.633 as they start now. There's a little bit of an off track there on the right-hand side. That's going to cost him a little bit coming into Thunder Valley at turn 10. Through the left-hander we go, turn 11, up through the carousel, turn 12. This long looping right-hander is going to just go on and on and on, and now we can get on the power through turn 13 over the line. Very short lap, Howie, not a lot in conjunction with times. You know, they can literally hurtle it along as there's a spinner right in front of us here. And topping basically south of 115, they're doing 1:14.63 with Simply Steve on pole.
So the fastest time in the practice sessions earlier today was a 1:13.05, and that was just drivers practicing out on the track. There's going to be so many interesting elements that come into qualifying when not only are you pushing for your most, but you might get in the distance of other drivers, or you could get affected by their dirty air, and everybody's going to be pushing to the absolute max. We're already seeing people pushing a bit too far on the cold tyres. I've got plenty of time for a few more tries, but I want to see those times rack up by the end of this.
Yeah, Williams will put it on pole on a 1:13.855 here. Great job. Oh, and then goes and bins it not long after, unfortunately for Squilliam this time around. Just got a nice decent lap time on the board and then ends up going round. So Gavin Averman just got and put it into 5th place here. In 9th, you got Jason Wonacek is going around now. He's going around the carousel section. He's got some greens on the board. So he's going quicker than what his time, his fastest sector time was last time. Let's see where Wonacek puts it on the table. Does he improve up from that 9th position? He doesn't. 1:15.615. No real improvements there, unfortunately, for Wonacek. It's I think Mid-Ohio, this is a course that's loved by a lot of people, and you know, they absolutely adore the circuit. It's not really in that category, I think, Howie, of a Marmite circuit where you either love it or hate it. A lot of people seem to love Mid-Ohio. Now, me personally, it's okay. I don't love it, I don't hate it. It's kind of in the middle for me. Driven around Mid-Ohio much, Howie, and how did you get on?
I'm not really sure I completely get it yet, but I feel like I don't get it yet in the way I don't get Virginia, where these are two very American tracks where it feels very much like they've just sort of carved it into the landscape wherever they felt like it at the time. And it builds up a lot of love because it's so unlike anything else. You couldn't build something like this in Europe, I think. I think this comes from a very traditional style of track building where they really did just sort of make a lot of it up as it went along, but that gives it a lot of charm. I've not cracked it yet. Well, maybe next time it comes around on a formula schedule, I'll give it a proper punch in. I've tried it a lot in sports cars, are a lot more sluggish, and these handle extremely differently. But I can imagine it being an absolute thrill in these cars, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The circuit itself, in its current position where it is now, kind of was this current circuit layout was 2006. Now there was a nasty chicane going down between turn 1, which then you went right for 2, left for 3, and right round the keyhole. They've obviously straightened it up as Lizzie goes off track as well there. So they've obviously straightened it up for its modern day format where it is. There is still the chicane on this circuit. It still does get used, but this is the main circuit. It's 2.25 well, 2.4 miles in length. And you're right in a way where you kind of don't understand it or don't get it, because a lot of people really don't understand this circuit and the way it works and how flow you've got to be. It's definitely a flow circuit. Here's Mid-Ohio. You've got to make sure you can get it right. You've got the tricky up through 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 through the S's. Coming into Thunder Valley, you've got 10, 11, 12, 13 that you've got to make sure you can get right there as well. And I think that's one of the things that these drivers are going to have to look out for, is to make sure that they don't run wide after these difficult corners. You know, you've got a lot of undulation, you've got a lot of up and downs, you've got a lot of left to rights, and they've just got to make sure they can bury it and get it right. Not always easy for some of them, especially if you haven't been practicing as much.
Well, this track is on the schedule as a result of the Champion's Choice Initiative, I believe, where the champion of a season gets to pick something that is a bit untraditional to put onto the calendar. Last season, it was Nick Beaver who was able to get this onto the schedule, and I believe it's going to show up in another one of the J2iCS races coming up soon. So it's the sort of track that I think a specialist would pick to throw everybody for a loop, you know? How often have you seen this show up in the iRacing schedules? You see it come up in the NASCAR schedules. You don't see it come up much everywhere else a lot of the time. But I think it was onto something. One thing that interests me is I see a lot of drivers overcompeting right now. I think this is a track that really encourages you to be brave, but not step over that line along the way. Are these people just getting into things, or are we going to see more overestimation when there's 20 cars on the grid? That could be scary.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that they're going to have to look out for. We've got 18 cars running here this evening, and even then I think they're going to struggle at some points to make sure that they can get round these 18 cars, because at the end of the day there can be a lot of chaos and confusion along the lines, and I think it's what this circuit brings now as well. Squilliam's on with his pole position on 113.514. Eatmadust in second on a 13.8 here. Notovin on 114.0 with Simply Steven on 114.06. Bozak 114.094, so not a bad spread from top to bottom really. When you look at the gaps between them, they don't actually break that second until they get down into Leslie in 13th place here. So we're going to have 13 cars, give or take, or 12 cars, all within a second of each other. Could make it very, very interesting. And how are they going to cope if they're only running that short time apart?
It's going to depend on the race, I think, because we've got two today, one short, one long. Your first one, I think it's tempting to get too daring in the sprint. It's tempting to push yourself out there a bit too much, but it determines a lot of the grid for the second race, which is arguably the more important feature of the day. I think you need to feel out the pack early on. You need to feel out how they're going to drive. You need to feel out how comfortable it's going to be, and then use that as your learning experience to really tackle the next race, when, with more time, the pack's going to spread out, and you may get the opportunity to make safer, cleaner runs. Now, we're still quite a bit off the fastest time in the practice sessions, 0.4 of a second off on the best, so there's still definitely time to be found here, and drivers are really going to start pushing in the last 5 minutes, hopefully not off the track like that, but still more to be found, only 3 drivers making it under the 13s in their last lap.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to really try and do some work here. We've got 3 of the top 3 under 13s, and we've got obviously everybody else practically down to 14th place. So Schwab on a 1:15.024, Yamega in 15th, 1:15.035. So there's kind of a definite pattern developing. It's kind of the top 3, maybe 4, possibly 5. And then maybe everybody else will give that mid-pack section. And I think that's one of the things with being in the mid-pack is there's always that ambition that although you'd love to qualify on pole every single race, it's not always possible, right? Let's be real about it. You can't be a pole man, you can't be a pole specialist as such. However, William is doing rather well this season with his pole intakes. He's got 5 already, mind you, out of a 7. We're on round 7 of the sprint race currently. Obviously, he's got 5 poles across the sprint and the feature. So I think, Will's doing rather well for himself. But at the end of the day, it's still difficult. And you might not be a qualifier, but you might be able to be getting it right in the race. And that's going to make it more and more difficult for some of these drivers to start getting through the field, especially if you're quick and the others in front not so quick. And Mid-Ohio's not always got the greatest overtake opportunities.
It's got a very big slipstream though down that back straight, and that kick lasts quite a while. And in these Formula cars, the slipstream becomes more powerful than ever. That's someone else cooking it too hard at that turn 1. That turn has been the bane of a few people so far. I'm really starting to get scared for the race now if we're still doing this 3 minutes out.
Yeah, that was Amerman, unfortunately, also had that issue there. We will bring you up the schedule, and we'll have a quick look at the schedule before we bring you up the grid for qualifying. Looks like somebody else in 3rd place. Notovin has also been off the side of the circuit here as well. Squilliam's got 2 purples on the board. What's he going to be able to do around that final part of the circuit? He's going to go left, he's going to go over the line. Orange in the 3rd, orange in the 4th. Did he get that offset any further there as well? 1:13.483. He's not improved as much. 1:13.48. So it was very close to improving. Didn't quite get the job done on the 1:14.983 for Ipadas there underneath him. Literally 1.1 seconds slower than his last time, so not ideal for them. We're in that stage of qualifying where they're fighting for tenths and thousandths at the moment, Howie, and I think it's a very difficult part of qualifying to try and improve your time.
Yeah, but if you're going to make it happen, you have to make it happen now. The track conditions are at their best. You've had enough time to really get the rhythm, get the patterns in. I mean, I've seen a lot of motorsports that the very best time just suddenly comes at the very end out of nowhere, and you think, how did they do that? That said, Squilliam's been an amazing qualifier so far this season, and he's continuing to do it right now.
Yeah, he's got another purple in sectors 1, but he's orange in 2 and 3 here. We're picking up with Blackbot Wallace as he's going to go over the line. Is he going to make an improvement on his 8th place? Not at this moment in time. Squilliam definitely did not improve. Bozak is on the run down through Thunder Valley through turn 10, the right-hander, then coming left for 11 through the carousel of turn 12 before he goes left for 13. He's got improvements on the board. How improvement is he going to make here? He's going to go left now again. He's got 30 seconds to get this car over the line. He's not got far to go whatsoever. Goes and puts it in second, a 1:13.796 for Bozak, and exactly what you were just talking about there, Howie, has happened with Bozak. Where did he produce that time from?
It's sheer force of will and determination at most of the time, but it's not quite good enough to make it on that pole. But that's going to set him up just absolutely brilliantly on a race where you do definitely want to get away from the worst of the pack. Now, before we make it to the end of qualifying, I do just want to point out, I could be corrected on this, but I think we are missing one of our event sponsors, AJ, who got this event named after himself. They call it the Red Rover. AJ rolled over. specifically because he rolled his car over on this track in real life, flipped it right over on the other side, showed up for Friday practice, and then disappeared into the dust. Never got to see him again. Where'd he go?
Who knows? Who knows on that one? But here is the grid. Squilliam is on first, Bozak second, Eat Me Dust on third, then Notovin on fourth, Sneezy Jr. on fifth, Simply Steve on sixth, Urko in seventh, Jason Wanacek in eighth place, Blackbird Wallace ninth, Nicolator 10th, Gavin Averman in 11th with Jason Miller in 12th place there. Then you got Biker Pilot 13th, David Leslie 14th, Ryan Schwab 15th, Joe Albanese 16th, Yamega down in 17th, and Prince Adam, who joined the session late, down in 18th place. Let's see what goes on here. I think this could be a very, very interesting race, and I think they're going to have to make sure that they can get it round the circuit. That's going to be the important part. We're just waiting for Urko to get on to the grid, and then we will be going here as well. And I think, well, all I can say, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, is hold on to your hats, get your drink, get your popcorn, sit back and get ready for some, well, banging racing. And I hopefully don't mean banging into each other. Lights are coming on now as well. Squilliam's on that pole position. 4 lights, 5 lights. Ladies and gentlemen, round 7, heat 1 is green, 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 and everybody got away cleanly right the way down, coming down into the left-hander. Imadasa not having got a great start. Bozak did not. He is down 2 places already off the side of the circuit as they're coming into the keyhole for the first time. Squilliam on the defense now. Imadas trying to go around the outside of the keyhole, not making it work at this moment in time. Notvin got in front of Bozak as well. Bozak did not go anywhere off the grid there, Howie. In fact, the only place he has gone is down 2 positions.
Good old standing starts in high-power Formula cars. You know, it's very, very easy to misjudge and get it wrong and be a little bit scared of others because of the amount of contact that could happen into that turn 1. I'm amazed they all made it through with only a little bit of grass dipping wide as we try and go 3 wide into the S's beneath. You've got to be brave to hold it out around it. Well, you've got to be brave to race around a lot of this track, really, as I see contact on a rear wing already in this early stage.
Yeah, I believe that may have been Leslie making contact there, and unfortunately it looks like it is losing time. Blackbird Wallace, Wallace losing time, got no bearing on the car whatsoever, unfortunately, and there was contact. Yamega has been off the side of the circuit as well. Another one that has gone down. I believe that was going up through the left-hander here of turn number 5, and he's also gone off the circuit. Sneezy J now is under pressure. He's got Bozak in front, and he's got Simply Steve right in behind him currently at this moment in time, chasing him down into the keyhole. It looks like Amerman has been off the circuit as well. You can see the little red circle on the right-hand track map. He's gone off around turn 1. We saw that a lot in practice, Howie, and it looks like we've possibly seen it again here.
Well, at least it's happened in clear air this time. I've noticed a huge gap here has developed between the leading pack and the pack behind. It's could have just been a result of people being held up by that damaged rear wing. I mean, that's the worst piece of aero to be missing around high-speed sections of the track quite like this. But that's going to allow some of these drivers up the front to quite get away. It's a short sprint, so usually you don't see too much field separation.
Yeah, definitely on that one. Here is what happened to Gavin Averman. Big snap in the car going through turn 1, unfortunately. The left-hander, and off he goes. Back on board with Simply Steve. He's chasing down Sneezy Jr. here, and these guys are battling it out through the right-hander. We go. It's going to be interesting to see if they can keep it now through the left, and we've got this run down into turn 1 again. Who's going to be able to get this? Is Simply Steve going to be able to get it? Is he going to be able to jump him into the curb there? That is not good from Sneezy. He's going to be put under even more pressure now as well as he goes on the outside. There he goes behind us. Through the keyhole we go. Big snap from Simply Steve. Makes it through nicely though. Gets the job done over there as well. That was all stemmed from hitting that curb in turn 1 with Sneezy trying to come back up the inside.
We've seen some big oversteer from some of these cars. Maybe it's just the cold tyres early on, but they've had a few laps of battling to get together. Maybe there's something in the setup that's causing them to be a little bit unpredictable, but we've seen more often that turn 1. We saw a little snap sort of threaten the pace, and that's going to allow Sneezy here to come right back at him in the S's. They're going to stay side by side coming out. Sneeze is going to have the outside, but that was a good attempt there, and I think he's going to stay on that tail for quite a bit longer now as he's got time to make up.
Yeah, absolutely, I do agree with you. Dust, however, has got literally Notovin right behind him. There he is on the back, and that 128 machine getting very, very incredibly close through the left-hander of 13. We go now. Looking back at Notovin, is he going to try and go around the outside here? He's thinking, what's he going to do coming into the keel? He can't give up that inside line. Is he going to take the inside? No, he takes the outside. He tries to go around the outside for Notovin. Is he going to make it around the outside of the keel? This would be a move and a half if he does now. No, not this time. Dust still manages to hold on, but Bozak, who was in that second place, is now down in fourth. They're still going side by side in front. You can see Notovin and Dust on the left-hand side in the yellow, Notovin in the blue, and kind of mustard-coloured car through the right-hander of turn 4, through the left-hander of 5. Notovin's going to try to cut back. That's the slowest route. It's not going to be quick enough. Through the right-hander of Genna 6, up through the S's of 7, left and 8 now. Dust and Notovin still running nose to tail here, Howie, and they have been for practically half a lap.
There's such team racing here as well, looking at some of these car designs. I mean, we've got two teammates in one place just bearing down upon the so-called learner driver in this instance, but it looks like they might be willing to battle each other on the way up as well. I think there's people are going to keep chasing and chasing. It looks like the dirty air isn't too powerful and isn't holding people back too far, and there's still so much slipstream space around here.
Yeah, the problem is you see coming now through the fast right-hander, through the left-hander of turn 1, sorry, now coming into the kill. Notovin is not quite close enough to get the inside line into the kill. He's trying that looping run where he's hopefully coming out the other side at more speed, not getting it done at the moment. Albanese, Biker Pilot, and Prince Adam are fighting it out further down as well. They're battling for 11th, 12th and 13th, side by side, in fact. Right at the moment in time there, and lucky enough, Biker Pilot in that number 42 machine with Prince Adam alongside in the 7-7, purple and white. Down they go now on the run into the right-hander of turn number 4, and it looks like Biker Pilot is going to lose that place to Prince Adam, who's just gone up the inside, who's just literally started at the back of the grid. He's up 6 places already, so a great move from Prince Adam, and we've got literally 14 minutes remaining here. Still battles happening throughout this circuit. You've got the two teammates together here. Teammates, it's a different situation now with teammates. Do they battle or do they try and keep up with Dust in front?
I love a lot of respectful racing between teammates. I think, especially in a league like this, I think you do have competitive spirit among yourselves, and as long as you're not willing to take each other out, you're happy to battle. Quite frankly, the two are giving themselves pace as long as they run with each other alongside down the straight here. They're gaining distance on the cars behind, they're launching a potential attack on the car in front. I think they're in communication, they're in loop with each other in a Discord server right now with most of the teams, so I think they know exactly where the limit is and exactly what they're doing. It's such an interesting dynamic to league racing. You don't often see around the sim racing sphere.
Yeah, both of these guys from the Knights Racing team. And that is Notovin and Bozak there. Looks like David Leslie has crashed. Looks like Jason Miller may have been involved in that one. We can have a look back. Please don't tell me this is a rejoin. Jason Miller off the side of the circuit. Coming round, spins the car up. He then goes off not long after this, does Miller. So what does he do again about a few seconds up the road? Jason Miller, this is a little bit of a worry. Does he get this right, or does he snap here and it all just goes a little bit wrong? Yeah, it seems to be all right. Let's have a look and see what is picked up on from Miller. Whoa! Oh.
We call that one a disconnected pedals. 100% calling it now. I don't think anyone quite tries to make that call about braking for it unless something technically went wrong on that side. Really sucks to see it just happen out of nowhere, as that's David Iezzi actually losing it himself. Just about swings it back onto the track. I'm amazed everyone avoided that in time. That was a crazy rejoin if you want to talk about that, but at high speed it's sometimes hard to stop your car, so I'm not going to judge. It's no personal judgment from me on that one.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if this is a disconnect here. Oh.
Yeah, the wheel's going nowhere. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
Nice to be in the sprint at least, but that would hurt in real life.
Yeah, definitely would there as well. Ryan Talbot in YouTube chat. Let's go Nicolator, he says, who is sitting down in 9th place, up 1 position. Unfortunately, he's got 9 seconds to Jason Wanacek in front of him, so he's got a bit of an uphill struggle. He's trying to get rid of Joe Albanese behind him in 10th place. Nick there in that Jägermeister machine, but it is all about what Simply Steve and Sneezy Jr. are doing with Notvin and Eat My Dust. You can see further up the road they are closing in on each other. It looks like Prince Adam's just about to make another move with Albanese. Adam coming through the field through turn 1. He's going to have just about given the inside line there. Albanese is just there on the left hand side. Whoa, there he goes. Breaks the early, and Prince Adam makes his way through. Job done, another position gain. That's 8 places so far for Adam. Don't forget top 8 was that reverse for race number 2, and at the moment Jason Wanacek is going to be in that pole position for race number 2. Could be very, very interesting indeed. Just coming into the breaking that 10-minute mark now, Howie. This is it. It's got to be about the nitty-gritty. It's got to be about moving forward for him and for Notvin and for Bozak, who's down 2 places from where he started. Eat My Dust is in there as well around the right-hander of the carousel. How are they going to go forward here? Because it doesn't look like they're making much inroad on Eat My Dust.
I think it's nice to take those positions if you can. If you can just stay there and keep the cars behind and not stress too much about it and not force a move, then you're in reasonable positions for the feature, because being in around the 3rd, 4th, 5th marker for the feature means you barely move up or down the grid. So, you know, sometimes I think you're going to take the reliable points, and if they're going to do that here, then they'd appreciate it and they're going to go for it. But I just wouldn't discount looking for it every single chance on this straight. You can see the slipstream building up as he tries to make a move here. Onto the outside, not quite enough of a run. I think that's developing. He's definitely going to try and scare Eat My Dust if nothing else.
Yeah, he's got that aggressive nature about him, hasn't he? Where he's trying to move the car into positions, put Eat My Dust off if he can. And, you know, for Eat My Dust situation, he's going to be able to sit there and just pick where he wants to position the car. Obviously, he's not going to go and do anything too crazy with it, because at the end of the day, let's face it, you don't want to ruin your races or anybody else's races in the process. But he is looking at positioning in his car here. You can see the up and down coming around that carousel. Notvin again, not getting close enough this time. He's not going to be close enough through turn 1. Stay off the curb. That curb on the inside will unsettle these open wheel machines, and it's just shown again for Notvin. Lost a little bit of time over that curb on the inside of 1, and now cannot get through on the keel. You can see very up and down once more on this circuit. This looking back really does accentuate the positions of the circuit, how it goes up, the undulation side of it as well. What is now, here we go, what is Eat My Dust going to be able to do against this? Notvin's going to try the outside line again, not making it through this time, coming into turn 4, left-hander of 5, still not getting there again, Howie. Notvin's trying, he's knocking on the door, but when's he going to be allowed in?
I'm noticing the weakness of the slipstream here, and that you pretty much get your run post-kink, and in the next corner, it's almost impossible to make a good run into it if you just get that advantage a bit too late. It seems like you really, really do have to beat their line out into the keyhole, because I did overestimate. No one's perfect, but I think I've overestimated the slipstream down that straight. It's good, but it is not going to solo get you a pass. We're not talking no DRS over here or anything.
No, it's good, but it's not what I think most people would expect from an open wheeler on a long circuit like Mid-Ohio. We're trying the outside again here. Are we going to be
big outbreak?
Yeah, but he's gone in too far. He's kind of carried the speed. He's trying to bully him off the inside line. It's going to be a run now. Is it going to be Notvin? Is it going to be Eat My Dust? They can't go any closer to each other than what they already are. Dust is going to have that inside line, squeezing Notovin again, just making sure he just doesn't quite get there going into turn 4. Notovin's trying that wide line every single time. Dust is just covering him off. This is bringing in Simply Steve and Sneezy Jr. behind him. So there's going to be literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. Well, 4 maybe, depending if Sneezy can keep up with these guys, of course. Having this battle out here, and the sign of insanity is doing the same thing, and Notovin's doing the same thing. He needs to kind of change it up a little bit.
Oh, I don't think there's much else you can do. If you're putting pressure on, you're putting pressure on. If you're doing your best runs, you're doing your best runs. But I think that was the best attempt he was going to get, and it was proven that it didn't quite work. I'm worried about the cars behind. I saw Bozak. The body language looked like he was getting a bit impatient at that last battle. I don't know whether the teammates are going to now work towards Bozak making sure to back up these drivers behind and inconvenience them, or whether Bozak is going to eventually just say, listen, you need to give me this now because this isn't working.
It depends what choice Bozak's going to have. It really does depend on what Simply Steve's going to do. If Steve's going to look and do this, Bozak's not going to have much choice or say in the matter here. You know, for Steve, he's clearly quick, he's caught up, but they have been fighting. Bozak has dropped back 6 temps already from Notovin due to the fact that they are fighting, but it could be out of Bozak's hands. As much as you think he wants to try and hold on and slow these cars up, he might not have a choice if Simply Steve wants to go for it.
I think this track has been challenging to pass at in this first sprint. I think we've been finding that you know, the usual overtaking opportunities are there if you get a good run, and we have seen passes and we've seen drivers climb their way up the grid. But in general, it seems like it's really rewarding consistency and not making mistakes like that. Little bit of oversteer on the curb, and that is going to give up all that speed. A spin in the back there as well gives up that pretempt to the battle, but he kept the inside line, and that might give him the run on the way out. We'll see who has more momentum coming out, because this slipstream could add up to more now. Notovin, he's definitely got the run, he's definitely got the pace. That inside line, that line that Dust is on has more momentum. They're side by side. It's still not going to be enough going into that corner.
No, Dust gets it again. That was Sneezy Jr. You've just seen in the background. Yamiga's also had a crash, unfortunately. Now we've got these 4-car fights. It's the team leader at the front with the Knights Racing in the middle. And then, of course, Sneezy in the back there. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how these teammates do on this circuit when they've got the 2 people in front of them. Where can they go? What can they do about it? It's all got to be, surely it's got to be coming from Simply Steve putting Bozak under pressure.
I don't know what you do I don't know what you do not in Steve's position and Bozak's position, just for that battle in the back in general. I mean, the drivers in the middle are in communication, but then the drivers in the front and the back are also in communication. They're in some terrifying communication sandwich. It's a game of, like, how do I defend? Do I defend too hard here? Do you attack up ahead? Do I just go for you instead? There's too many variables here, and I think someone's gonna pounce, someone's gonna get under pressure again. Everyone's getting a little bit scared here. We go for them side by side again. That inside line is just obviously so superior now every time, and Dust knows how to position his car for it every time. Bozak's being really patient, really not going for his teammate when he makes mistakes, which is probably the smarter long-term play. As long as it doesn't open up Simply Steve into this equation, then they only have a few more laps to just about survive around here, but Steve's going to get more impatient as the laps go on here, I think.
Yeah, he's you know, Steve's got to make a choice over Bozak now. Bozak's got to make a choice over Notovin, and Notovin's really got to try and either go for it on Dust, or he's not going to be able to get him, and it's going to be the inside again. You can see him holding the line. He holds it right away out, comes across into one, and then lets his car drift out, runs that right-hand lane. Is he going to leave the door open again? Is Notovin's got to try and do something? He's doing the same thing again. Well,
that's contact.
Yeah, not the best way of trying to get through, but now the whole train behind him have lost lost time there as well. Notvin and Imadust making contact. Notvin's now lost a little bit of time. He's not going to get there going into the right-hander of turn 4. He's going to have to sit and wait once more and do the same thing over and over again for the next lap. With what will be, I think, the penultimate lap that will be the final lap should be this time around.
Zach almost running into his teammate, checking up around there. Little bit of contact there on the outside. These cars are usually very fragile, but I'll give him credit for backing out when he sort of knew that, hey, you know, any more of this and it's going to end far worse. Let's not push the issue any harder. But that almost backed up a big train of slow cars. I thought Bozak was going to go for it or make a mistake. Still keeping the single file into the last attempt. This is going to be so tight.
Yeah, Simply Steve's going to have the run now. This is where he's going to be looking at Bozak. He wants that, well, needs that really to follow the line of his teammate Imadust up in front here. And he's coming into the keel, not going to do it. He faked it really, trying to put Bozak off, and all he ended up doing was, unfortunately for Simply Steve, slowing himself down. So now he's going to have to go again. There's going to be one more. The leader, Squilliam, who we have not seen, he did cross over in plenty of time. Notvin's now got the inside line. He's forced the inside line. Has he can hold it this time? He did hold it, and Notvin got it, but you can see there they're coming back. Imadust is trying to come back around the outside, leave space for each other. You've been clean all the way through. Notvin again, still not being able to take it. Still side-by-side action. Bozak's in there, he's trying to fight, and this time around should be the final lap of the race. Through the carousel, the leader's going now through the left-hander. Now going over the line, should go wide in the top left-hand corner. Will be the final lap, I believe, because there's no time left on the board. The final lap of the race, and you can see Notvin, who took absolutely ages to get past the Imadust there, kind of forces him off that inside line coming through turn 1 and gets the job done. You can see now in he goes, up, bullies his way through, and needed that run up into 4 to be able to complete that move.
Realised that's the only way he was going to do it, and that's opened up Bozak as well now, but we can see that he's just lost out almost twice here to both of the separate cars, especially if he's held to that outside line. We've seen the inside be superior for this whole race. Where did that go? They've given one teammate in to sacrifice the other, but side by side, they've just given the inside back to Imadust. He's taken the plates back.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why you would use the inside line to get the overtake done and then open it back up again. Boring.
I need to see that again
before
making a real judgment. There was a lot going on there. This is a super tight pack.
Yeah, he does. He leaves the door open. Leaves the door open, and Imadust. Oh, they've come together. Notvin and Imadust will catch Squillian going over the line because he has just wrapped it up and taken that victory. What has happened to Notvin and Imadust here? Was there a send on the machine, or did Imadust just get a little bit loose? He's already loose. He's on the brakes. Oh,
it's a lock-up on the car in front, it looks like to me there. I see a lot of smoke coming off those tyres. I think the car in front made a mistake into that braking zone, and that's just started an absolute chain.
Yeah, side, then he brakes, bang. Notvin goes in straight behind him. That's going to give Simply Steve the second place here. Great job from him. Just right place, right time. Amerman comes over the line in 12th as well. But yeah, Squilliam wraps up the win with Steve in second, with Bozak in third. And that was all because Imadust made a mistake. He locked the brakes up, and unfortunately, Notvin went straight in behind him. So yeah, and then just to top it all off, Notvin finishes ahead of Imadust as we're waiting for Joe Albanese to go over the line before we bring you up the final results here.
I mean, it's unfortunate that that has to finish that way, but that is the sort of accident that happens when you're in a high-pressure, hard racing situation. I hope there's no hard feelings between the two teams over that, because I think the racing there was fantastic, and they're going to be starting in similar positions. I think we're going to see exactly the same battles play out again, but over an even longer time frame. Also noted that Squilliam, starting out from 8th position due to winning that sprint, he's had great success in this championship, currently leading it. We've not seen how he punches his way up a grid, but with a lot of poles, he must have done this quite a lot of times. So I can't wait to see it happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be definitely exciting. But here are the results. Squilliam is your winner in first place, with Simply Steve in second, Bozak in third, Urko in fourth, Notovin down in fifth in the end, Jason Wanachek in sixth, Imadust in seventh, Nicolator in eighth, Prince Adam in ninth, Sneezy Jr. in 10th, Biker Pilot in 11th, Gavin Haverman in 12th, Ryan Schwab in 13th, Blackboard Wallace 14th, Joe Albanese down in 15th place there, the final finishers of this race. Well, we've got a 10-minute warm-up here, guys, so we're going to take about a couple of minutes just to get a drink up here in the booth, and we'll be right back shortly. Right, so we are going to be back here. Let's have a quick chat with the winner of race number 1. Squilliam's in the booth with us. Welcome in, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm all right, mate. Not bad at all there. That was a nice, easy victory, right?
Yeah, it felt pretty chill. Luckily, I think they kind of battled behind, and I was able to just kind of cruise away and chill out. So, can't complain.
No, but they battled behind to the point of where they took each other out there as well.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, I bet you heard about that one. But listen, going into race 2, how are we going to see you come through the field? Obviously, for us, it's the first time here on JPB watching you come through the field. Are you a hot knife through butter, or are you a speed
I would like to think so, but on a track like this and how hot the track's getting right now, it's going to be a lot about patience. It's a hard track to pass on, and luckily the cars have a lot of really powerful draft whenever you get behind each other, especially on the setup. But as soon as you move out of the draft, you just pick up like a parachute. So it'll probably be a little difficult. We'll see how it goes. It's a 40-minute race, so a lot can happen.
All right, man. Well, good luck in race number 2 there, buddy, and look forward to seeing how you get on.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Take care. Right, in second place from the first race was Bozak here as well. Bozak, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
I'm all right. Not bad, man. Not bad at all. Some may say lucky second place.
Oh, honestly,
Yeah,
I could say it was lucky.
Hey, oh, dude, when the two people crash in front of you and they give you up second place, we're going to put that down on luck.
Yeah, no, it was definitely luck, but it was definitely a situation that could have been, how do I say it? I wish it didn't happen.
Yeah, but
Otherwise my team would have got third.
Yeah, but mistakes happen. My dust made a mistake. He slid the back end of the car. He hit the brake, which is what normally, and Notovin just had nowhere to go, straight into the back of him. So, you know, mistakes happen. It is what it is. What are we going to see from you in race number 2, though, starting 7th place?
Oh, I'm going to do my best to keep the car together. The track's definitely warmer, so I do want to be more careful. And let's hope that the cold tires don't kill me in the first few turns. We'll see what happens from there.
Tires at the pit stop?
Yeah, maybe not. We'll see.
Oh, not giving away any secrets there, did I? Let's be real about it. All right, man, well, good luck in race number 2, and we're looking at possibly having a chat with you if you get on the podium for the final race of the evening.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens. If not, then thanks for hosting.
No worries.
Not hosting, broadcasting. Well, same thing.
It's all good, man. Take care.
All right, take care.
And in third place, the final podium position in the race number 1 was Simply Steve here as well. Did he luck in? Was he a Bozak? Did he luck into the first podium? Let's have a chat with him. Steve, what do you reckon? Did you lock into the podium? Oh, Steve, can you hear me?
Oh, yep, yeah, sorry, I had to step away there. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Did you lock into that podium in race number 1?
100%, yep, unequivocally.
Did you have the pace to clear Bozak on track already, though?
I do think I was close to clearing Bozak on track. I think P2 is definitely a bit of a luck, but I think I had a good fight with Bozak, and it's going to be close no matter what. It's going to be close with Bozak for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think it could have gone either way, to be fair, because I think that situation threw both of you out of sync wherever you was. At one point, it was, you in front of him in front of you, then the mistake happened, him went back in front of you as well. What do we reckon in race 2, though? First up, 55% fuel, right? Are you going to make the whole 40 minutes? Do you think you can or not?
To be honest, haven't done the math. Probably not, given that it's like you just need to run flat out. Like the wear is going to be pretty bad here at Mid-Ohio, so probably going to go grab fuel kind of whenever is convenient.
Tires?
Yeah, probably. I mean, don't tell. Hopefully no one else that's on track is on stream right now. But yeah, I mean, the temperature's going up. A lot of tight corners, not a lot of straights. I think the wear is going to be pretty real. So.
Yeah, 43 degrees centigrade at the moment on that track. That's pretty hot. So Bozak basically said maybe, possibly, maybe not. So he didn't really give much away. So are you going to look and cover off whatever Bozak is doing, or are you going to look at jumping him over the first few laps?
I mean, I feel like you can do that, but I mean, you just got to run your own race. And I've definitely tried to follow strategy from other people and thrown off the whole thing. So I'm just going to do what I'm going to do and see how it goes.
Is Eat My Dust going to give you a strategy? He seems quick.
Oh, usually it's the other way around. But we all always work together, try to make something happen. So.
Are you playing team strategy when you're that close on the track and you're trying to work out what to do, who goes in front, who goes behind, or are you just playing it by ear and going for everything you can?
I mean, it's tough in the sprint. In the endurance, we'll talk about it a lot more, but in the sprint, there's not really a lot of wiggle room. Like everything's really tight. So it's kind of situational. Here, it was just kind of dead silence. I'm like, just keep backing them up, and we'll see if I can pick off a position. Unfortunately, it worked out the way it did. But yeah, it's normally just kind of, hey, where are you? Get closer. Not a whole lot of like, hey, you need to do this for me.
Well, good luck going into the next race. You've got about 1:40 on the clock to get yourself all sorted out and prepped there, buddy. And good luck, and we'll maybe have a chat with you at the end.
Yeah, hopefully so. Thanks, guys.
Man, take care. There you go, Howie. The three winners, three podiums from the first race there as well. Tyres could be an issue, might not be an issue. Didn't really give much away whether or not they're going to be taken or not here. It could be an interesting one.
I make controversial decisions, but I'm on team tires. I mean, I think when a race starts getting long on these SFLs, on these high downforce tracks, you can suddenly just lose your wear and lose your pace. And if the pit stop's required, could someone try and go as long as they can on the fuel, which is definitely not going to last long enough, and then just take tires to get more speed at the end? Usually the field sort of splits depending on people at the back will often do something different to those at the front, but I think this time it might make a difference, to be honest.
I do agree. I think at the end of the day, you've definitely got to look at the bigger picture, and if it's going to help you taking tyres, then you're crazy not to. Regardless if you're at the front, the back, the rear, or in the middle, wherever it is, at the end of the day, you've got to. It's not a long stop. Let's just clarify that. It's not like you're stationary for ages. It's an up, down, off you go scenario. So you're not going to lose a massive amounts of time overall. But I think it could be an interesting one. It could just change the way this is dealt with. I think in this race, I think it's could end up having a new dynamic. Who's going to take tyres? Who isn't? Well, time's going to tell. We're coming to the end of warm-up now. And the checker flag is out here. And then we'll be able to bring you up the grid. Don't forget top 8 reverse for race number 2. And the grid is all set, ready to go. Just wait for it to come up on the screen. There we go. It is going to be the Nicolator in first place in the end. He qualified up the front. Look who's in second. Oh, that couldn't have worked out any better. Eat My Dust in second place. Jason Wanacek in third. Notovin in fourth. Urko fifth. Bozak sixth. Symphony Steve seventh. Squilliam in eighth. Prince Adam ninth. Sneezy Jr. down in 10th. Biker Pilot in 11th. And then Gavin Averman in 12th place. Then Ryan Schwab in 13th, Black Bob Wallace 14th, Joe Albanese 15th, Omega 16th, David Leslie 17th, Jason Miller down in 18th place. Couldn't have worked out any better for the man up the front here. I can tell you one thing, Eat My Dust is going to be open. Everybody does eat his dust because he has got a lifeline being thrown at him sitting in that second place. So it's going to be very, very exciting and very, very interesting to see how he gets on. We're just waiting for Joe Albanese, David Leslie to get onto this pit, onto the grid, ready to go before we can now bring you up the lights. Looks like a couple of them have not made it. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Can the Nicolator hold on? Well, I can tell you now, the answer is no. He did not go anywhere off at the start. Let's put Eat My Dust right beside him there as well. Notovin's trying to go around the outside of Jason Wanacek. How's that one going to work out? But it is Eat My Dust gets that job done. Notovin got the job done further back as well. You can see the gaggle of cars coming in here, tucked in right behind him at this moment in time, and there's enough of them. There's 2, 4, 6, 7 cars. Find out Bozak there with Sneezy Jr. and Squilliam in the mix there. Notovin trying to make his way through. He got past Jason Wanacek. Nicolator's trying to hang on that run down into turn 4 here as well. Some great starts from some, not so good from others.
I mean, you've really got to hustle on a track where you're not going to get too many on-tracks overtakes done. Eat My Dust actually getting the pass done on the inside there. Again, that line proving superior as the Nicolator tries to go for that draft pass. As we're probably going to see the story from last race repeat itself on track. It's going to be a very big game of waiting for people to make mistakes once that grid's been gotten off, I think. When not even Squilliam is confident about his ability to pass here, you sort of know that this is going to really start developing over time, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, whoa, big off by Urko.
That's Urko going all the way back.
Yeah.
Lot of time to make up here this time, but, I mean, the tyres start hot, but holding the neutral, so that's kind of a push around here on that first lap.
Yeah, there's been a couple of others who have also had moments as well. Sneezy Jr. has unfortunately had a incident, as has Jason Miller. Sneezy in the black and white there, coming towards us. Did he just run? Oh, there's going to be contact. Yep. Rear wheel to front wheel.
That's an iRacing moment right
Oh,
there.
Two involved in that as well.
The front wing looks like it might have actually survived after all was said and done.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be surprised that it's not there at any points when we go back and look. Obviously, the damage model is a wonderful thing. Biker Pilot's in the pits. We've lost Albanese, lost Leslie at the beginning. Neither man made it onto the grid here, but it is Eat My Dust clearing away from the Nicolator in second place. Notovin in third, Jason Wanacek in fourth, Squilliam down in sixth place. Can he make his way forward? How far can he go, do we think, Howie, here as well in race number 2?
I think if you don't pass here, you have to win on the strategy game here. You need to anticipate other people's moves and try and get good outlaps done while they stop. Try and get good undercuts on the fuel strategy. Try and get yourself in clean air potentially by timing it right. You've seen the passing not quite develop on the first session, and with double time, people are going to be less bold, quite frankly, than they were the first time. They're really going to have to settle into a long-term rhythm. So it's going to be a game of who messes up first now, and then it's going to develop over the next few laps once the pit stops start playing in, I think.
Yeah, over turn number 3 we go. Nick, oh, dude, you broke well early. Where was that put? Oh, Notovin, you managed to get away from him there, Nick. But I can tell you one thing, breaking that early, not going to be a good idea. Jason
William falls back. That looks like it was contact.
Yeah, contact. We want to check. Oh, Squilliam just goes in way too deep. Way too deep. That was oh dear, you are not stopping that car coming from that far back. Cannot be expecting to be given room when the other man in front, Mr. Wanacek, doesn't even know you're coming. Unfortunately for Squilliam on that one. I can't see that any other way than Squilliam's fault.
I would say a little bit too deep rather than... I think there'll be a lot more damage that was way too deep, but I think that is carrying a little bit too much speed into that bend. Trying to make a pass there up the inside. It looks deceptively easy, and then it's hard.
Yeah, Bozak there now clearing lot of in. Simply Steve's in the mix. Gavin Averman is tucked in behind him. Averman there in 6th place, up 6 places, benefiting quite a lot here. Simply Steve's now behind Nodovin and is going to be trying to get through. Nodovin goes to the left-hand side. Steve comes out on the right. Oh, the two boys from the Knights Racing playing team game there. They just covered off both sides of the circuit in one go. Simply Steve had nowhere to go. He couldn't go anywhere, let alone on that racetrack. Team game being played there, Howie. We've seen it. We just saw it live. Literally covered off both sides of the circuit. Simply Steve had nowhere to go.
Well, both drivers have the benefit of having a team at some point in the race, but being stuck behind two of the same coloured car has to be harder than anything else right now. It's going to be so hard to make a move on one because the other's going to stop you all the way up. He's really starting to wish a repeat of the last race was actually happening. But you're in no man's land this time. Sorry, wait for the pit stops later.
Yeah, let's see how it gets on. Nicolas just closed in on Imadust there, going round into the Keel through turn 1. Imadust almost makes a mistake. Now going through the Keel. Now this is going to be Nicolas' chance. Is he going to be able to move up and move forward? He's going around the right-hander very, very shortly. The kink here of turn number 3, running up into 4 now. Is he going to do the inside line? Is he not going to do...
It's a good cover off there. Almost looked like he was going to give him one line, then just about moved for the other.
Yeah, I think for me, it kind of... Nick's got to show something. Right, for me, he's got to show something here, because if he keeps just nestling in behind Imadust, he's going to sit in that front knowing that Nick's not going to go for it. You know, he's getting the runs out certain parts of the racetrack. He's getting the draft, which is great for him because he's going to need the draft. But he's got to be brave with it. If he isn't brave with it, then he's just going to be stuck there. And as you say, wait for the pit stops, which is not really what he wants to be able to do. He's like, now he's so close. Tuck in right behind him.
I think this track's deceptive. I think we've seen almost 30 minutes of that not being easy. And I think it's the people that get a little bit too brave that actually might be the ones that come away unfortunate for him. Because he's not had the whole sprint's race of experience to find out that you will get beaten on the inside of momentum if you do this one. But we've seen it back to back with that team battle, but everything in this track makes it look like it's easy to pass, and then all of a sudden it's just not. You don't have to wait for pit stops. You can sort of scare the other guy, but you are waiting for mistakes. You're not forcing it. Forcing it leads to bad things happening around here, I think.
Jason Miller and Urko going side by side. They've just swapped places. Urko passed Miller. So Miller there has unfortunately just lost that place to Urko in front, who's just got the overtake done. Simply Steve, Notovin and Bozak with Gavin Averman still close together. And of course Nick and also Imadust are still front, well, nose to tail pretty much as they're going in through turn 1 again. I still feel that if Nick's going to hold and sit and wait, he's jeopardising what's going on behind. It's come down from 2.4. Now he's got to go. He's given a door out. Oh!
That looked like it could have worked in real life. The speed of light, I think, let him down on that one. That was a really, really nice overtaking attempt. I think the netcode just quite had things to say about that because he was definitely alongside it. Felt like he might have been run out of space there on the outside.
Yeah.
Now looking at it actually from that angle,
I just don't know if there was contact. No, There wasn't. There was about a good old.
No, I think
It was a foot
that
between them.
counts as contact, but you know, iRacing sort of shows things are a little bit different to reality. I think iRacing sort of saw that as contact,
It's-
whereas they
yeah.
don't physically touch. I think he might have been run out of space on the outside there. I don't like making massive sweeping assumptions about things I haven't seen a million times, but he definitely had a lot of space on the inside. He definitely had a real run to do it, and then all of a sudden it just seemed to disappear.
Yeah, I think the anticipation, basically the way the model works, is it anticipates that there would have been contact, so therefore it makes contact. And you can tell it was kind of the side of the internet just by the body language of the cars and the way they move, right? When there isn't contact, or when there is actually contact, you get a smoother transition between the way the car reacts. When there isn't contact and you've got a gap like that in the middle of it, you can see it's a very jerky contact, and it looks jerky on the track as well. And I've got a funny feeling that is exactly what has happened there, as Simply Steve tries to go round the outside of turn 4. Is not going to get it done through the left-hander or 5. So I think it kind of just anticipates, Howie, that there was going to be contact, so therefore it makes contact. You don't know the extent of the contact they would have had. It could have been wheel to hub. You know, no real damages there as well. Ryan Tolbert, I believe, well, unfortunately,
What you see is never quite what happened on both sides. It's the internet is very strange like that. It was a good attempt at an overtake, and it's a shame that he's been sent back for it, because now that top has all separated out by quite a significant gap along the way, and the battle really is kicking off behind between who other than the usual suspects.
Well, he was in there. I was saying that as he just went on the grass here as well. Squilling around turn 1, coming into the keel now. The right-hander dropping down. He's going to look for the inside over Blackboard Wallace. He is going to get that job done. Can he hold the inside line? No. Up into turn number 4. It looks pretty much like he's going to. And now,
as long as
that
you're
is
on the
Nick.
right, it ends well.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The inside line seems to be so much stronger. And there's really no competition. Squilliam now with Nick, who was clear of Squilliam by quite a margin, has now got the winner from race 1 tucked up right behind him. So poor old Nick's going to have to go war once again.
He has been hard charging, despite all the talk about overtaking him and all the talk about overtaking Massey. He pushed up from the start, he pushed himself back, and now he's pushing back up again, further up the field. Squilliam's shown just incredible pace all weekend around this track, and maybe if you just have like a raw second of pace advantage or someone, it's easy. It gets harder in that sort of middle ground where it's a little bit muddier between two drivers, where the pace is quite close, but he's finding the spots to clear people that he can very clearly clear. Made a mistake earlier, stepped over the line, but did it a lot more patiently the second time, and I think he's going to keep learning from this.
Track temperatures come down by 1 degree. Don't get me wrong, it's still 41 degrees centigrade, so it's still going to be hot. The tyre choice situation will be the one I think we're going to look out for here, as Squilliam is now on the going to be taking that position away from Nick. Is Nick going to be able to hold it? He's not. Squilliam's going to be the first man in the both races to make that move around the outside there to get that job done through turn 4 and 5, and Squilliam does move up into that position where he is in 6th. Where is he at the moment? 6th place. 7 seconds to the leader. He's got a 3-second gap to Amerman in front. Are we rooting for the air of impossible, or is there still a chance here?
I think Squilliam's been the only driver to get into the 113s this entire session, this entire race, including, I don't know if he was the only one last race, but definitely one of the only. He's been the only one so far, only a 9-13. Keep getting better and better from there. I think he's consistently significantly faster than all the cars ahead every single lap, and the way you're going to time your pit stop this race, I think, is going to specifically be when you have problems with the air ahead. Once you're in your window, which we are pretty much just entered the window where that's acceptable. You want to know, if you think you're in air that you can't get out of, that you want to get out of someone's hair, that's when you time it, and you just have the best in and out lap you possibly can to try and cover off your opponents. That's how you're going to make up places and time. Notavan holding up the inside line there, coming out of the kick, making sure that he keeps that third place. Very familiar colours in very familiar places, as I alluded to earlier. Possibly going to get vicious again.
The interesting thing for me was the way Notavan took turn 4. Steve took E5. Now, the way Steve took 5, and I'll see if we can see it again coming up on this lap here earlier as well. The way he took it on the last lap, he went in very, very tight on 5, which caused him a bit of problems on the exit, which means he didn't get the run out of 5 that he specifically wanted to, and unfortunately still ended up sitting in behind Notavan again. Notavan took the traditional racing line of swinging the car out and bringing it back in, but Steve tried to shorten it off, and unfortunately I don't know whether or not he was trying to shorten it off in the hope that he might be able to take the inside line. Now let's have a look as we go on board with the chopper here. He tries the outside, right? That's the second time he's going to try. If he can get round the outside, he can't. Now, watch Notavan take the move. Now, Steve didn't do it that time because he was in the position with Eamon behind, but he shallowed it off last time, which jeopardised his exit. And I think Steve's got to be in that position where he's got to say, right, I've got to follow him here, but I've got to be looking to make overtakes here, and that's the problem. If he doesn't do that and just follows or tries different things with Notavan, he's not going to make his way forward. I think it's got to be down through 1, going into Keo, or coming out of Keo down over into 4. That's the only real places that I can see these guys trying to make it, and I think for Steve, he's got to stay there. He's got to stay behind him, Howie. He's got to just fit in and follow Notavan until what time he can get close enough.
There might be dirty air limitations between trying to follow into those S's. That's the first theory I could think of as to why you wouldn't follow someone on that inside line, is that maybe it just completely kills your wake and just makes your driving horrible. And the outside, even though it's no place to pass, at least is sort of clear. Because, you know, you could very much also risk running right into the back of someone if you misjudge around there. I mean, the slipstream gets you so far up to someone, you sort of have to pull aside to them in order to make sure you don't hit the back of them. And at that point, you're suddenly in the middle of nowhere, and then you're sent back again. So I wouldn't think of these so much as overtaking opportunities as sort of like running the safe line around this sort of area of the track and just waiting for mistakes to materialize, which they certainly have.
And they certainly made it here, because Bozak again has caught up to eat the dust and is literally right behind him, coming around the carousel. They're going to be coming off this final corner now. What's going to happen here for Bozak? Can he get close enough? It's going to be going around the 1. We'll stay on the inside here. You see
First
just
pit
how
stop,
quick it is.
Steve.
Yeah, simply Steve in the pits. Probably not a bad shout, to be fair. As the Bozak now trying, is he going to be able to get them not into the keyhole this time though, Howie? Might be able to get him coming out the keyhole if he's close enough.
I'm not a believer of getting him coming out of the keyhole anymore. This feels like 90% of gamblers quitting just before they're about to win big or something. Unless you force a mistake, or unless you somehow force it inside, which it would have to be the bravest move in the world. That's such a just a dead line on the outside, and you pretty much, you only take it not to run into someone at this point. Now we've seen the first pit stop from Simply Steve. I think we'll start to see reactions. Someone like Bozak may benefit from just getting out of this air now so that he can run faster laps, and then those faster laps could, you know, get him on aggregate past Eat With Us when he makes this. I think that's going to be the key going forwards.
Looking for the undercut, do you think?
Not traditionally the overpowered undercut you see where tyre wear is a big factor, because I'm not sure if the people at the front will necessarily give up too much pace for that tyre wear, but definitely just getting that clear air, getting away from, you know, being hindered by someone, and then if you are 0.3 of seconds of a lap faster, you'll come out ahead of them when the time happens. That's a very good run going into the keyhole. There may have been contact there. There definitely was contact there between the two, the top two taking each other out. Again, these two teams can't stay away from each other. I think it was Eat My Dust again, moving a little bit into the other car on the way. I'd need to see another angle.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find where's going to be the... Nope. where the best possible angle will be of that here.
No, I think they're both running each other extraordinarily close there. They're both running each other so close that a tragedy is risked at any point there. It's almost unnecessary from both parties to really make that happen the way it did. And that's just killed another 1-2 for the two of them, and it's just sort of snuck Squilliam into P3. No one really noticed that he just ended up somewhere where he shouldn't.
Yeah, Bozak eat my dust, and then it's eat my dust not of it kind of scenario, isn't it? These teams with eat my dust can't really stay away from, well, he's in the pit lane now, probably not a bad shout, but him, but yeah,
this is a championship that gives out some pretty big penalties for issues during the races. You can miss sprint races if you're wholly responsible for the decision. I think these stewards are going to have a lot to decide after the race. We've seen a lot of drama unfold among some of the best drivers here, and we might even see more. We're only just in the halfway mark.
Yeah, Simply Steve has cleared Eat My Dust there in the pit lane. Steve being the first man out on the racetrack that has pitted. So basically, we've only got his to really go against. 29.1 pit lane time, 6.8 seconds, 7.07 for Eat My Dust, 29.13. So it's going to be whether or not Steve's going to be able to, how far is he going to be able to go here with, and how far he's going to be able to move up the grid once everybody else's pit stop cycles start running. As you can see, we're going around turn 6. None of the top Aimerman. Gavin Aimerman is in the pit lane now. Is he going to be able to hold on to that position? He's going to lose a few in the process. Nicolette's gone through. Bozak's gone through. What about Blackboard Wallace? Is he going to make it through? He does. Prince Adam, is he going to be able to get through again? And Adam does make it through. This is going to be very, very close. I don't think Steve's going to be able to get there. I think Aimerman's there. There is Steve. It's going to be a very, very close run down this pit lane. I think Aimerman might come out in front though. I think he has. And Simply Steve is stuck in now. Got to 8th place there, Howie. Is this something we're going to see more of as Squilliam and Bozak are going side by side?
It's so dependent on upon how good your outlaps are. Your in-lap and your outlap are going to decide everything around here, especially if, you know, you're stopping this early, you're not taking tyres. I think you'll only take tyres if you come in very, very, very late into the race. There could have been more contact there between the two cars getting close. Not completely sure, but Bozak forced onto the grass regardless, as Squilliam seems to force his way.
No.
That is contact. Squilliam has been pushing people around the track to get his way here as he moves up the pack. Wasn't expecting this sort of passing maneuver, but that's the second time we've seen it today.
He doesn't touch him. He doesn't get the problem isn't that he goes straight. It's Bozak steering there.
I don't think the car gets loose by itself. No, I don't think the car gets loose by itself there.
I think we're on a little bit of a debate on that one, because I don't believe that the car could have possibly got loose just for the fact that it was going up and down a hill and over that point. We would need to look at it. Just there, it's almost the slightest little movement over the crest. Oh, this ain't gonna.
I see that wheel like nudge over.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, it's hard to tell because everything's been at 0x in terms of its severity. So you can't even see who's got a high incident count coming out of this, because every little bump that definitely has happened, that one we'll put in the cryptid territory. They've all been little 0x bumps. We've not seen any massive hits that cause serious damage outside the start of one of these races. So it's all little bits of side-by-side contact, but even the ones that do exist, they can very much unsettle a car, even if they're tiny here.
Yeah, well, you see both of them there, slight little bit of contact, they both end up sliding. Leslie's had a bit of a mare at the moment. He's down 6 laps. He missed the start of the race, so I don't know if he's come in and joined late, and then unfortunately he's just gone and made a mistake. So unfortunately for David Leslie, he's having a bit of a rotten feature
I've
race.
seen a second pit stop from Eat My Dust that has sent him to the back, and I think the only way that could have happened is if he's taken some actual damage from someone at one point, but I'm not completely sure.
No, you are right. He did go in and out, but the question is...
But also, it was only a 1.38 second stop. So... I don't know if something was configured wrong, or maybe a penalty was served, or maybe Squilliam is running it all over the track today.
Yeah, but he's got to be... What's the gap? 26, 20, pit lane time 29. Not really going to look at that and take that into consideration because it never actually works out at 29 seconds. Well, we're going to find out because Squilliam's in now, and we are... Is he stopped? He's not stopped yet. And Simply Steve is closer than he was last time round to the guys in front, which was Gavin Amerman, who he did get past. But this is it. I think Simply Steve could be the one here to take this position away. He is going to take the position away as well. He's going to get it. He's going to get the job done. There he goes. Simply Steve does manage to jump Squilliam, and Squilliam got held up there. And maybe that battling probably didn't do Squilliam any good, and he's lost time.
Still looking forward to whatever overtaking antics William gets up to, and I don't mean that in any disparaging way. He's clearly the fastest car here, and as a result, he's ending up in other people's business way more than anybody else, and we're seeing so many brave moves and brave passes. He's not just going to settle with 7th or 8th at this point. He wants at least as many points as he can get out of here. He has won almost every race in his championship up to now. Doesn't look like it's going to be today unless something tragic happens to the grid. But in exchange, he's going to try and get every point he possibly can out of here, as Simply Steve runs up ahead.
Yeah, he does at this moment in time. He's quite 1.7 seconds in climbing, which is, I would have thought, going the other way. Bozak's in. Blackburn Wallace is in the pit lane as well. This is going to be another 2 positions for Simply Steve. Question is he going to be able to get close enough to take that lead away from Notvan? And I've got a 26 seconds. It's going to be desperately close here. Squilliam is under attack from Gavin Amerman behind, having to go down into the keel, into the right-hander there. Not getting it done. His nose has got to hold that inside line as Gavin Amerman. How is he going to be able to get on going up through the kink of turn 3? As we said, the draft, it looks very unpredictable here, Howie. 1 minute you can get loads, and then the next lap it looks like you ain't getting any.
I think it's more that as it was mentioned in one of the interviews, it breaks the moment you're out of it. So you get it right up until the exact second you're actually trying to pass someone, and it just disappears off the face of the planet. 3 drivers left to stop at the front, not have been in. Then Nicolator and Prince Adam still left to go. That's Nicolator heading into the pits now. Prince Adam will be last. I'm not sure who is positioned here to land in first place. It could be Simply Steve. It's not going to be Simply Steve by a mile away. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is what you get when you get British people to do this sort of time.
Yeah, Notvan comes out in front there. Simply Steve does grab 3rd, which technically should put him 2nd after he gets past Prince Adam. I did say it was going to be very, very close. Squilliam's
still going off.
Yeah, he's pushing like an absolute trooper. Unfortunately, well, he went off once coming through turn 1. Oh, big twitch there from Squilliam, and off he goes, and unfortunately now has lost that place to Gavin Amerman. Steve potentially 2nd in the race here, with Prince Adam still to pit.
Now, what's interesting is, so it's fairly obvious all the drivers have decided no tyres. That's a big L for #Team Tyres. But, you know, and maybe that's the best decision. I'm not on the track. I don't quite know this. But my real question is, are they going to be still aware of the drop-off? Because even if they don't take them, they're all on the same playing field here, the drop-off is going to be substantial. It's a very hot track, it's a very aero-dependent track, and these SFLs on tracks like this, after 30 minutes, these tyres can just start to see you take the corners less quickly. And some drivers will know this from experience, and some drivers are probably going to be struggling out there when they realise they can't take corners as they can. We're approaching about that point now where you'll start to feel it on a track like this.
Yeah, Adam's in the pits. That's going to free up Steve here. Depends on where Adam's going to come out. It was a very, very late stop. Could end up below Bozak, possibly below Urko as well. He's on the pit lane exit. Is he going to come out? Yeah, he did come out in front of Urko here. So great job from Adam. Puts himself up into 8th with that untraditional pit stop kind of plan, I suppose, from Prince Adam, sitting in 8th place. Bozak's catching down on Black Bob Wallace. Can he get through? Been himself involved in 2 little ta-ta-tas so far in this feature race.
I love to see them. I love to see them get side by side and a little bit physical if they can't pass any other way. Not that I like seeing anyone smash anyone because this isn't NASCAR. But if we're not going to see, easy overtakes, and people are going to go for it, it leads to storylines at least, and it leads to some spicy interviews later at the very least. I think some drivers are probably getting a little bit hot-headed at some of the things they've seen out on the track today.
Yeah, there's unfortunately, though, not all of it has been driver error. Some of it has been obviously internet errors and things like that. Obviously, Squilliam's made his own mistakes, unfortunately. Amerman, well, not really much. I haven't really seen anything involving Gavin Amerman. He's just kind of snuck up into first place like a little silent ninja and has gone about doing his business. However, let's only weave once, you know what I mean? We're not weaving jumpers on the way down that straightaway. Squilliam's going to try the outside line. Is he going to be able to make this work, or is Amerman going to try and close him off? He's pushing him as far as he possibly can into the right-hander of turn 4. You've left the door open. He's going to try and come at you around the outside of 6. If you leave it again, he's going to have you into 7. Tighten it up. There you go. Now tighten up the exit of turn 8. Now park it. There you go. Round turn 9 we go in through Thunder Valley and down into turn 10. Squilliam's definitely looking quick over Amerman. Just how close do we think he's likely to get, Howie? And can he get the overtake done? As you say, when you're up behind it, the draft pulls you all the way in, and then when you come out, you hit a brick wall.
I actually feel like with this pace, the top 3 is almost certain, and it feels like a matter of time. I mean, could he even get the second? Is that like crazy, insane prediction of the day that he can pull off the second? The first is very, very far down the road for 10 minutes, but Squilliam is so fast out here today, and he's going to make every last bit of this. And if you have just a big pace advantage, I think you might still be able to make it happen given enough time, and hopefully not enough another driver error.
Yeah, send him around the outside. He's got to try and work around the outside now. Is this part's going to be done? It's not. Amerman late in again. Cover off the inside line. Open the steering up. Well done. Now cover it off again. Don't leave the inside. Amerman's putting his car in the right places. And that's what makes me wonder whether or not Squilliam's been able to get through. Because as we said, the draft, although is strong, you're pulling out into a wall and you're not making it through. But Squilliam doesn't look like he's got, I'm not going to really say the ability, but I don't know what I'm trying to say, but he just hasn't seemed to got the pace almost through the twisty section of the course. Howie. Oh!
Well, that's going to be a third place on the spot right there. Call it the hand of God, or call it making a mistake under pressure against one of the fastest drivers on the grid. Squilliam claims that P3 for a lovely spin, and now he has clear air. He could get close to Simply Steve if mistakes like this keep happening. That's got to be heartbreaking. P3 with 10 minutes to go against a championship leader, and you just lose it yourself, nothing else in it. That's tough, but these tyres are getting very tricksy, and it is getting very hot.
Poor old Amerman's going to be absolutely gutted. Gutted. He was doing so well. He had the positioning of the car down. He had the covering off of the positions down. He literally had Squilliam covered off. And unfortunately, one simple mistake. And that was it. Game over through turn 1 for Gavin Amerman. And now it's going to be whether or not Bozak. I don't think he's going to be able to get Nick in front. He's got the pace to stay ahead of Bob behind us, so on that one. Where is Urko? Urko's closing down on Prince Adam at this moment in time.
We're seeing the story this race develop in that people are making mistakes under pressure, whether they're passing or defending. You know, some attackers are going in too hot, some defenders are making just little lapses, and this car, I don't remember this car being this slippery in all the time I've driven it. It's one of my most driven Formula cars around here, and I don't remember it being this tricky. But Formula cars in the edge have a tendency to be either you drive me perfect or you die. So, especially on a track you might be unfamiliar with. So, that's been how it's developed, I think.
Yeah. I think the problem is his tyre wear in a very hot circuit as Urko's trying to go around the outside here. You've got to send it in. You've got to be very brave and send it in deeper than you can ever send it in before. He's still trying the outside. Well, he's got it done there because he's going to
actually outbraked him.
Yeah.
But if you get the run here, you do lose it on the next bend. It's why this is such a deceptive section. You have the inside line at the start. You have the inside line by the end of it. And then you just roll around the track and do it again, basically.
Yeah, Urko nearly had that job done now. I think it's going to be long. I've got to be honest. I think he's got the pace over Adam. He's going to try the outside now, which will give him the inside for the carousel. Job done. But Urko, open up the steering, just cover him off a little bit, just to make sure he don't come back at you through 13. Now you've got to hold him on again. Oh, man, I did not like too wide through turn 1.
It was a very nice move, I think. It's calculated to pass there. We've not seen too much of it here, but if you know you're faster, then you just have to assert the dominance, or you'll just get used up here by people just putting themselves in the right place and being like, okay, well, you're not going past me anytime soon. I think he's made it stick, and every position is worth something along the lines. And by the way, Williams closed up a second or Simply C. I'm just saying, simply a believer.
Well, I think you might be, but are you going to hold on to that, Adam? Gee whiz, he did. Oh!
And Urko's been forced wide. Not forced wide, that was entirely self-inflicted, but the pressure forced him wide there. It's so high pressure. Everybody's making little mistakes, and there's always someone to panic to take advantage. All that hard work, it's undone if you get just a little bit hot under the collar. Interested to see if Prince Adam can make the same moves work here. Or is that Eat My Dust behind, actually, onto Prince Adam? Interesting to see if he can make the same moves work. He's started at the front, forced his way all the way down to the back. We're not quite sure what happened there. And now he's back up fighting the same old again. It's like life's a cycle.
Oh.
That wasn't going to be how you make the move, though. He tried to sort of force it quite late there and just locked the tyres up going around. I'm surprised that didn't actually lead to some kind of accident. Urko's going to be looking for that place now. He's proven he can pass here already. This is going to be a tight 3-car battle, I think, all the way down to the last few laps, which are coming up very, very soon.
Yeah, Imadas got involved, of course, with Bozak earlier on, and unfortunately sent him down the back towards the order. Then he had to pit again, so there was 2 pit stops there. Squilliam on a 1:13.8.
Fastest lap, and he's closed another second again.
Yeah.
You can't keep getting away with this.
I don't
think the pass is realistic. No, not in 3 laps.
I don't think, no. I think Steve, if he's really smart, will just place his car where he needs to, making sure that doesn't happen. I want to follow this round turn 1 here, because Adam is holding his own, should we say, over Eatmadas, coming into this right-hander of the keyhole. Eatmadas looking, Urko's in the back, jinking around and clinking and trying to get some form of pressure on Eatmadas here. It's all about what Adam's going to be able to do. Can he hold on? You want to take the inside line, mate, all day, because if you open up that door, Eatmadas is force him around the outside. That's it. Force him. See, if I was Urko now, I'd be looking to take the inside line with Adam and maybe kind of force Eatmadas off that inside line so you can have it there and try and muscle your way through. Squilliam now down to 8 attempts. They're going to have 1 and 1 more. surely he can't, can he?
It's hard, but it's a free car train when, like, you can't make a silly move because the car behind you is supposed to make silly moves, and silly moves on silly moves breed accidents, as we've seen on plenty, especially when there's no teammates in the mix. This is all three drivers fighting for themselves out there. I see Squilliam getting closer. I'm terrified. I'm looking at that with, like, primal fear right now. Something is going to kick off. If that number goes orange, like, it'll hell breaks loose. Just over 2 laps to go, I think, on this run around the track. Maybe. Yeah, it probably is 2 at this rate, where they are.
Oh, even Dust's going to go up the inside of the keel. Adam opened it up. Urko's going to try and follow him through.
Urko has that inside if he keeps it, because he's got the slipstream of the car ahead. But where's that pace gone? Prince Adam got a better exit onto the corner, so now it's going to be almost 3 wide going into here. Urko's trying to force his way in. He has the inside.
Adam's going round.
It's the inside there, but it's going to swing back. Little tap. Car's still in it. Adam stays ahead on the line there. That was so tight.
There's going to be 1 and 1 more here, and look how close Squilliam is.
Squilliam is inevitable.
He's hit him.
Maybe that's inevitable. More contact. Both cars still okay, but that might have been Squilliam's last try. They are going to have 1 more lap after this opportunity, but he can't keep getting away with that either.
No, I don't think we're going to be time up, I believe. I think this is going to be the final lap of the race now. Aimerman is there behind Wallace. He's going to try the outside line with only 2 men actually. Simply Steve and Prince Adam have actually made this work here for Gavin Aimerman. Can he keep hold of it? He's trying it now as well. I think he might have got the job done. He has done. Aimerman over Bob. Squilliam's back again. Not got many corners. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Oh, he's on the grass. That's it. Game over.
He's making new errors, and that's going to be his last shot. I think he's lost it by 2 seconds. Takes the third with Notabin taking a nice... It was a bit of a scrappy race at the start and the middle, but once he came out ahead of those pit stops, it was clean running for him at the end of the race. Crazy battles up and down the grid, far more than I expected, far more physical than I expected. This track proved to be a nightmare to battle on.
Yeah, it definitely did that. Blackball Wallace comes in behind Gavin Aimerman. Jason Wanacek, Urko. Urko's gone into the pit lane, which he's in the pit lane. That's on the final lap.
There's got to be some explanation for this one. We'll work it out.
Yeah, I think it's got to be some form of penalty in there, I think, for him, as we're waiting for Ryan Schwab to come over the line. There he is, the 199 machine, and then it's going to be Yomega behind him, with Biker Pilot bringing in the final finishing position. So we'll be able to bring you up the results. So right after he comes over the line, there you go, job's a good one. And here are the results of the feature race here. Nodovan is your winner with Simply Steve in second, Squilliam in third, Nicolator in fourth with Gavin Aimerman in fifth, Blackball Wallace sixth, Bozak seventh, Eba Dust eighth, Prince Andrew ninth, Jason Wanacek in 10th, Sneezy Jr. in 11th, Ryan Schwab in 12th, the Omega 13th, Urko 14th, and Biker Pilot down in 15th place. And then on from Biker Pilot was the people who didn't start or finish, David Leslie, Jason Miller, and Joe Albanese. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Let's start off with your third place man. Takes the win in race number 1. Doesn't get there in race number 2, but let's have a chat with Squilliam here. Squilliam, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Happy with that or not?
Pretty disappointing, to be honest. I feel awful for punting Cat Daddy off there. Just a misjudgment on my part, and then that last I should have had Steve on that back straight going through that last lap, and I don't know if I just misjudged it. It felt like he was going a little bit slow through there, which is fine, but probably on me. So a little disappointing. P3 is still good though, so I'm happy.
Yeah, we're just watching it again, the incident obviously you had earlier on with Jason there. Now, we said that you missed your breaking point. It definitely did look like you missed your breaking point. You went in absolutely smoking hot. But I suppose the maker of the man is not the fact that he's made a mistake, it's how you recover. And you recovered back up to third. That's not a bad race, too, when you think about it, considering how much worse it could have been.
No, definitely. I think I ended up taking tires, which I really wasn't expecting to do, but I think that helped me a lot find some pace towards the end there. I was putting in some pretty fast laps on the low fuel, and so I think that was the right strategy call, which you don't really get in these cars on most tracks because you just keep staying on the same set of tires and just keep pushing through. So I think that definitely gave me an edge, and yeah, I'm still happy with a podium for sure.
Yeah, I think you did a great job there as well, so well done to you. Is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I've always got some friends watching, so always shout out to them, and shout out to my teammate Adam. He complained that I don't shout him out enough, so this one's for you, Adam.
Yeah, he did well this evening. Finished in
He did.
ninth place, so fair play to him there as well.
Yeah.
But Squirrel, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy, and look forward to seeing how you get on next time.
Appreciate it, man.
Right, and the man who is in second place again, but 2 races in a row. He was second in race number 1. He's second in race number 2 again. And let's have a chat with him. It's simply Steve, of course. Steve, welcome in. How are you?
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Yeah, you did well, mate. 2 second places a night. Not bad run at all.
Yeah, pretty happy about this one. I felt like I did a lot of work to make it happen, and it wasn't so much of it wasn't handed to me in the same way, maybe as much as the first one. So
early pit stop from yourself on there. What was the thinking behind that?
So I was fighting with Notavin, and I was kind of thinking I was going to take tires. I was thinking over the long term the wear wasn't gonna work. So I was like, well, we're fighting, losing time. I'll go pit, get the fuel and tires out of the way. And yeah, it didn't end up working. Me and Notavin were just chatting in the waiting room. It didn't work as well as I was hoping. He made it work without the tires, but yeah, it's just yeah, it didn't quite work as much as I would have hoped.
Well, Squillian took tires as well, bud.
Well, that's good. I mean, we were definitely he was maybe making more use of it towards the end there. So
yeah, how do you see that battle with him? Because he said it looked like you went slower than normal when he nearly hit. Well, I think there was a brief little bit of contact, to be honest. How do you see it? Do you see that he come in too hot, or do you see it as, yeah, maybe I was a little bit slower than what I should have been?
I mean, I think Squilliam in general has a lot of flat out pace. Like, I'm just looking at the best laps, and I mean, he obviously caught up to me really quick. So, I mean, I did take a look back at it real quick, and I was breaking at my normal marker. So, I mean, to me, I think it's just the difference in pace. Like, I'll admit that Squilliam's quite a bit faster than me. So, to me, that's what I think. I think Squilliam is just a faster driver than me most of the time in these cars specifically. So, to me, I think that's the main causing factor. But I leave it to the stewards to like what it actually means or anything like that. So. Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Natalie. Shout out to my teammate Eat My Dust, Lucas, and Erico. Yeah, shout out to the team. Yeah, thanks. Hope to be back.
I'm pretty good. Yes, very. It's so nice, especially after what happened in race 1. Well, battling for what was it, second and third, and just kind of dropped it at the end there. So that was kind of gut wrenching, but this definitely makes it a little bit better.
Hit the brake, and then you come straight up behind him and unfortunately nowhere to go. So, you know, that's how I kind of see that situation. What do we think into this, though? You took the lead, you led out front, you led going in the pits, you led coming out of the pits. Was there tyres on the agenda for you?
There was at the beginning of the race, just because it was like I typically take tires for these ones, but as I was kind of watching Steve, I kind of figured he would have took tires, and he wasn't really gaining nothing on me. So I'm like, you know, I'll just save the 5 or so seconds from not taking tires, and I'll just kind of hope that the tires don't completely fall off at the end there.
How close were you before them falling off? Did the car feel loose in the end?
Yeah, especially going into the first corner, the rear was starting to slide out a little bit, so I had to start lifting quite a bit to not lose it.
I bet as well. Well, not thank you so much for joining us there, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I'd like to thank you guys. You guys are obviously picking up our broadcasting mid-season, so I'd like to give a thanks to you guys.
Thank you so much for that one. It's been a pleasure joining you for what has been a very interesting round of racing. But guys, one more time, your winner in your feature race is not event here as well. Well done, buddy.
Thank you.
Right, Howie, how can we wrap up? Sum this up for us.
I would call it carnage, honestly. Like, I think
carnage.
It's a hard to pass track, and so as a result, it became very, very, very incident packed and very, very thrilling. You didn't know what was going to happen at any given point, even though it was, you know, a track where we sort of worked out the preferable line. Like, it still just started exploding. I felt like every time a battle was picking up, and not always in the best ways.
Yeah, I think as the tyres dropped off, it did get a little bit looser for them as well. But let's see how they get on here going forward. What is the schedule? Well, we can see October 21st is the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Circuit, which is where we are this evening. Off to COTA on September the 11th, and then we finish Circuit Zolder and Interlagos, my favourite circuit, on October the 9th. So stay tuned. Write them dates down, guys. It should be a fun one. But that's going to wrap it up here this evening. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Howie Burroughs. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.